Hello, thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to share with you how you can improve your customer retention for no extra money. Not one penny, not a single cent. Honestly, it's as simple as that. In 20 minutes time, you're going to have what you need to go back to your teams and implement some new retention tactics. I work at Farfetch. We're the global technology platform for luxury fashion. We're a public listed company employing 3,500 people in 13 offices worldwide. In my role, I focus on the B2B users of Farfetch's platform technology. So in my world, the customers are the boutiques, the brands, and the technology innovation partners who use our platform products. For example, this could be a luxury handbag boutique in Rio selling their designer items on our marketplace, farfetch.com. Or it could be a department store in London integrating our platform capabilities into their digital offering. Or even a technology fashion startup in New York that's created innovative technology that they are bringing to share with our platform and its users. As you can see, our B2B customers are many and varied, but they all have one thing in common. They all have 100% retention rate with Farfetch. To date, we have not churned one single B2B customer. And today I want to share with you some of the tactics that we've used in order to maintain that 100% retention rate. Let's be completely open though. Farfetch has one teeny tiny advantage that you possibly don't have. There are no direct competitors to our platform technology. Yes, there are other businesses competing for our B2C customers, what we call the luxury end customer. You will have heard of Net-a-Porter or Matches. They sell similar luxury items online than we do, but neither them nor any of our other competitors have built and delivered the B2B platform technology that Farfetch has. So with no direct competitors, my retention job is really easy, right? There's probably not much that you can learn from me today. Well, I hope not. Because if you think about it, operating in a market with no competitors isn't really a strong retention strategy. And so we've always behaved as if a competitor exists, because no doubt one day they will. Now, here is the big reveal, so you might want to lean in for this bit. It's not about big wow changes. My product marketing retention strategy has been based on incremental changes using existing resource to create better propositions to our customers. Small changes can make a big difference, and that's the main takeout for you of my talk today. No big wow, lots of incremental. No big budget, lots of small, achievable steps. When I started in this role, I identified 3 problems that I thought product marketing could solve. The first one was that we had great customer insights, but these weren't being optimized against our product proposition. The second problem was that the customer was one of many voices within the product development process. And the third problem was that our B2B communications looked like they came from a completely different company than our B2C communications. And I'd like to spend the next few minutes talking you through the retention tactics that I used to solve these problems in the hope that I'll give you new ideas of how to solve similar problems that you may face now or in the future. So let's start with the first problem. We had fantastic customer insights, but somehow these were not being used to optimize our product proposition. Be the customer champion. You're the voice of the customer. Understand your customer, and blah, blah, blah. These are all business speak cliches that are used in today's customer-centric world. And these cliches are not the point I'm making today. When I talk about customer insights, I'm not talking here and now about reading research documents or scanning NPS reports or understanding your customer personas or familiarizing yourself with focus group results. You are all totally competent in that. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. What I'm specifically talking about is the role that product marketing has in taking these insights and applying them at every step of our product development and our product marketing. I don't think it's enough to attend a focus group or to read some research documents. I think as product marketeers, we should be personally speaking to as many customers as we can, as often as we can. Yes, a phone call might do it, but why not go and visit them in person? Here's one way to think about it. Consider yourself the David Attenborough of product marketing. Just as he goes into the wild and observes all the animals in his natural habitat, you can observe your product in your customer's natural habitat. See how they use it in their own environment, because the insights that you will learn from that will be invaluable in helping you build a product that genuinely meets their needs. I think we view the job of understanding customers as a box to tick. But in reality, it's an area of continuous improvement for us. As product marketeers, we should all pledge that tomorrow we will better understand our customer than we do today. There's so much to learn from this area, and an ongoing focus in improving our own personal insights will really serve to strengthen our proposition. This approach has worked brilliantly for me. Earlier this year, I had the opportunity to meet with many of our B2B customers at a conference. And at this conference, there were lots of topics that were discussed that were relevant to them: product development, marketing, ethical fashion. But when I was there in person, I could see that there was one topic that got everyone in the audience sitting up in their seat and that garnered the most audience engagement. And that was the issue of pricing on our marketplace. Just to put this in context for you, Farfetch does not set the prices for our sellers on the marketplace, but we have built the platform tools and algorithms that our customers use to optimize their own sell-through. Now, of course, I knew that pricing was important. I had read all the documentation, and it makes perfect logical sense that the price that an item is sold at would matter to a seller. But there in person, I could see just how much this one issue blew all the other issues out the water. And immediately, I went back to review our pricing communications. We had to do better at communicating our new pricing, product features, and launches, because this was the most important communications for our customer, and unfortunately, sometimes it was the only communications they would read from us. So we had to think about this in terms of the customer. Why had we released this product? What benefit was it to them? Why would this be better for their business? So in doing this, I understood what was most important to my customers. And I think you need to find ways of understanding what's the one thing that matters the absolute most to your customers and being able to optimize against that at each stage of the product process. So it is no big wow revelation to you that you need to get to know your customers. But incremental changes can be made if you challenge yourselves to speak to as many customers as often as possible and make sure you use these insights to optimize every stage of the product development and your product marketing. The second problem that I mentioned was that the customer was one of many voices in the product development process. And I'm sure for most people in the room, this is true. For us, we have internal product needs, business KPIs, mandatory technical updates, legacy plans, marketing needs. I could go on. There are many, many stakeholders in our roadmap process. And it can be really frustrating when you see the customer, the stakeholder without whom your business could not function, falling further and further down the priority list. I very quickly realised that no matter how hard I pushed, the customer wasn't always going to trump other stakeholders. And so I decided to influence this process from the end backwards. What do I mean by this? Well, when a product manager's release had been completed, they came to my team to ask for help in the marketing. And this was my opportunity to get more stakeholders thinking about our customer. And so I created a basic briefing template. Any product manager who wanted my team's help with a launch had to fill out this template. It covered some very basic questions like the ones up here. And I think the third question here was the most important one. How do we measure success? Because it enabled us together as a team, as Brittany mentioned before, to set agreed benchmarks. And these benchmarks could provide a framework for future prioritization discussions. There was now a concrete agreement of how we could assess whether a product had been successful and if it should go back on the roadmap. Now, as marketeers, these questions are completely instinctive. But to a product manager, it encouraged them to think beyond just the act of release and to pay mind to our end user. This enabled more stakeholders within the business to be thinking about the customer at an earlier stage of the product development process. Now, I'm afraid I don't have a big wild secret as to how you can get your priorities on the roadmap. But what I will say is that there are incremental ways within your process to amplify the voice of the customer and places that you can encourage the customer to have a bigger voice. For me, it was a change in the briefing process. For you, it may be a part of another process. But I encourage you to go back and examine your own process. Challenge yourself to find where that opportunity lies and to make a change on it. And the third problem that I want to go through today was that our B2B communications looked like they came from a completely different company than our B2C communications. Let's think about this. We're the global platform for luxury. We sell $4,000 handbags and exclusive trainers that sell out in minutes. We pride ourselves on these beautifully crafted, coveted, high-end items, yet none of this was being communicated through our B2B communications. And that was not how we wanted to market the global platform for luxury. Sorry. How things look matter. I don't need to persuade a room full of marketeers that that is the case. However, I don't think there should be a difference between, say, the launch of Gucci's new collection on our marketplace versus the launch of a visual merchandising tool for our B2B partners. Yes, the content is different, but the marketing principle is the same. Every piece of communications represents your business, your product, the value that you can bring to the market. And so we focused on improving our creative output. And there's still a long way to go. But a snapshot of some of the work that we've done. We took product launch announcements from the body of an account manager's email. Hey, we've launched a new product. Let me know if you've got any questions. To properly designed email templates using far-fetched imagery. We worked hard on crafting the language of the product release. Again, this is something that's been referred to a couple of times today. So that there was a universal communication of what a product did, what were the product benefits, so that everyone internally was singing off the same hymn sheet and being able to explain a product and why we had built it to all the different external touch points that we have. And finally, we worked on our product demos. We took them from some screen grabs that were in a PowerPoint presentation attached to an email and worked with our global service design team to build best practice demo videos that integrated adult online learning series. And in doing this, we've done justice to the products that we are building and what we can deliver as a luxury marketplace. I've focused a lot on improving the creative output of our B2B communications. And in doing that, I've managed to persuade others within the company that it matters. We have also been able to find pockets of creative talent and technical capabilities that can complement what we're delivering. And that's enabled my very small team to have a much bigger creative impact. So it is no big wow that your communications need to look good. But you can make incremental changes by asking yourself, are all your communications to all your customer groups of the same standard? Is there internal creative expertise or technical capabilities that you can use to improve the communications that you deliver? My theme today has been that small changes can make a big difference. I do not believe that you need big budgets in order to improve your proposition and your product marketing to your existing customers. Incremental changes in the areas of customer, product, and marketing can enable you to improve your product process and the product marketing that you can deliver. I really urge you not to focus only on the shiny, big budget, long-term launch campaigns, but to think smart about the existing resources that you have and how they can be optimized to improve your product marketing. Now, just one final thought. As the proverb goes, mighty oaks from little acorns grow. And have a think about that relating to your product marketing as you wander home tonight. Thank you. Okay, sure.
Thank you so much, Christina, for that. I spent all that energy trying not to mess names up, and then I mispronounced Farfetch. Anyway, the question is, I think my mic died, by the way. How do you define churn in your company? Trying to understand zero churn, not challenging 90% retention, so kudos to that.
Okay, in this instance, I've used churn as a definition of acquisition versus retention, so the number of customers that are leaving, no one has left. Maybe that's a very crass definition of churn, but 100% retention rate remains.
Amazing. Okay, next question is, how do you convince clients of the time commitment to do so much research with them? What is the benefit both to them? Does this always work?
Well, we work with on the B2B side, we have around 1,000 customers. We work with our UX team, so we are lucky in that way. We have their support. We identify clients who are as passionate about the platform as we are, and will work with us to improve the platform's capabilities. What's in it for me, for a B2B partner, I suppose, is an improved product and an improved offering for a platform that is making them a lot of money. Not everyone is going to agree to that. Not every customer will have the time for that. You don't have the time to speak to them all anyway. But I think you can identify super users or customers that will have the time to speak to you and start from there. Does it always work, or do you change tack? Well, no, it doesn't. I mean, work as in you approach someone, no, they're not always going to want to speak to you. Does speaking to a customer always work? Of course. Even if you only have 10 minutes with a customer, what you can learn or what you can see from the way they hold your product, engage with their product, open your product, even a technical product, what are they going straight to do first? Something like that you can see within a snapshot of the first 2 minutes of being there with your customer and your product, it in itself will garner insights for you.
Okay. And in a bid to make speaking to customers a habit and not a project, what would you recommend as a default set of questions, and how do you get customers to agree? Yeah.
Okay, so the second part, how we get customers to agree, we have a great UX team who have a good relationship with them. Maybe that's cheating. What would I recommend as a default set of questions? I think it's a visual thing, so I think you just want to say to them, please use my product and can I watch you do it? If you're short on time, I think that's the most important thing that you want to see, how they're actually using your product, because how someone talks about something and how someone does something can be two very different things. There's been actually quite a bit of discussion today about that. In terms of the types of questions that you want to ask, do you like my product? What don't you like about my product? What's the one thing you would like to see changed in my product? Those are the kinds of questions that if you have a short period of time, they're the kind of things that I would be asking for in the context that I'm looking for.
Amazing. This is a juicy one. I love this one. How were you able to influence the product management process to include the product launch briefs, and how well was that adopted?
Okay, I think the key to this is having other stakeholders within the company who believe in product marketing go for the low-hanging fruit. And I realized that very quickly. There are just some people that you're not going to persuade that product marketing matters. And that is the sad reality of it. But there are people who care and who get it and who want to use product marketing to improve their product management, and go to them first. That's what I would recommend. When I started in this role, there was a product manager who said to me, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. I've been waiting for you. And I thought, brilliant, this is my starting point. Other product managers, that has been difficult to get them to adopt the brief. They've been very reluctant to do it. That's okay, because when you have a couple of pockets of supporters, then it begins to be adapted. It begins to be the norm. And then everyone starts to do it when you reach the tipping point.
Fantastic. Okay. And then last question that I have here on Slido is, how did you measure success on tackling and solving those three big problems? Have they transformed into PMM pillars, or are they new problems you're working at, or are there new problems you're working on?
So in terms of measuring success, some of these were KPIs or OKRs, as we call them, that I set out for product marketing. Improve your creative is quite lofty. So we focused on specifically what are the most common product marketing outputs that we have, and demo videos and our regular emails, like a product launch email and several other types of product marketing emails. Those were our most urgent priorities, and that's what we used for the measurement. There's always new problems to work on. And yes, I think we've in some ways ticked the box for some of the problems we've created, and ingrained the briefing process as part of how we operate as a team. I'd say that's probably done. But there are loads of other parts of the process that we might have the opportunity to influence, to give the customers, a stakeholder, a bigger voice. That's one of my objectives, and I don't think that will ever be something that's completed. So I think that answers the question.
That's all. That's all of the questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.